want to thank you guys for bearing with me between the tornado and the coronavirus. I know that things have kind of been in a little bit of a loop. So I thank you guys for getting your homework done. And if you need me at any point, please send me an email. A lot of you have my email and my number. So just give me a call or a text if you're having any issues. So this week we are finishing up Unit 9, and then next week we'll be moving on to Unit 10, which, congratulations, that is our last book for the semester. So, um, yeah, so we'll just finish up the last 8 pages today. A couple things. Um, I will be sending you the Unit 9, a photo of the Unit 9 test, so that way you guys have that available to you if you'll just scan that in and either take a picture or scan it in using that Cam Scanner app that I was going to show you, or that I think I sent to you. Um, and if for some reason you're not getting it or the quality is not that good, then like I said, shoot me an email. Okay, so for Unit 9, I know that you guys have talked about, or I guess read up on, like furniture and interior design and how to lay out a house and how basically the structural blueprint of a house works. And so today we're going to take that concept a little bit further in talking about like furniture that's usually used by interior designers and how they furnish a room and how they make it look nice. So, um, first and foremost, what does it take to furnish a room? It does take carpet, furniture, additional objects including piano, TV, trash cans, whatever you want to put in your room. And each thing has a specific dimension. So typically, designers will have little templates that they'll orient in a certain space based off of the entrance, the windows, the largest wall size, in order to make the space flow best and be most appealing. So for our kind of like our first little segment of the work you'll be doing this week, we have an example for Model 1 on page, I believe it's page 53. And I've written out the dimensions. So a living room is 18 feet by 12 and a half inches, 12 feet 6 inches. Bedroom 1 is 11 feet by 10 feet 6 inches. Bedroom 2 is 10 feet by 6 inches, 10 feet 6 inches by 10 feet. And then a hallway is 21 feet long and then four and a half feet wide. So to kind of solve this problem, we're trying to see uh, total cost for carpeting, right? So that's the problem. I have to read out the problem. Let me read out the problem to you guys, just in case you don't have your books readily available. So problem states in Model 1, rooms to be carpeted, the dimensions which are listed on the screen. And the cost of carpeting with padding and installation is $9.95 per square yard. So find the cost of the carpeting required. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to multiply the dimensions. So for example, we'll take 18 feet and multiply it by 12 feet 6 inches, which you guys know is 12 and a half feet. So just multiply 18 by 12 and a half, which will equal 225 feet. And so if you do that for each one, multiplying 11 feet by 10 and a half feet, 10 and a half feet by 10 feet, 21 feet by 4 and a half feet, you will get this result. So 225 feet squared for the living room, 115.5 feet for bedroom 1, 210 feet for bedroom 2, and then the hallway is 95 and a half feet in total. So add all of this up, you'll get a total square footage of 645 feet. So now what you're going to do is you're going to multiply the feet by 9 in order to get square yards. So if you are going to get square yards, you have to make sure that the measurement is the same. So um, if someone is asking you to how many square yards something will take and you already know the feet, just multiply it by 9 and you will get square yards. Sorry, not multiply it by 9. My mistake. Let me fix this. Not multiplying, it is dividing. Oh, and it's green. Let me fix this guy as well. So, my apologies. It is not multiplying, it is dividing. So, once you are able to divide it up, then you'll have 71.67 yards squared. And uh, once you get the yards squared, then you'll multiply it by the total cost, which is that 9.5. Then you will multiply um, the total square yards by the cost of the carpet and the padding, which is $713. So in Model 2, it's asking you to add an additional padding cost of 1.25, $1.25 per square yard. So what you'll do is you'll just take the same total, since you already know your number of yards, and then you'll just take the cost of the carpet with the padding, the $9.95, and then you're going to add the $1.50 to it, making $11.20 to be your total cost, and then you'll multiply that again by the 71.67 yards squared in order to get a grand total of $802.70. So that is how you do the problem. If you have any questions, then please let me know. And please forgive my writing. This is the first time using this tool. And so these are examples of furniture templates, which you guys do have a whole list of templates on page 50. But these are just some of the ones that I drew out. So the little grand piano is 5 feet by 6 feet. The bed can range from 6 feet 10 inches to 7 foot on length, and then 3.5 inches to, even 6 foot 3 inches in width, and then a little chair. And everything is supposed to be slightly representational of uh, the size of the room. It's usually drawn to perspective. So a couple of things to consider when writing out a floor plan, which you guys already saw last week, how to write out a floor plan with the windows and doors, and how to like where to draw the lines, so that way it shows which way the doors open and whatnot. So you have to consider the dimensions of each item, and you also need to consider proper clearances for each item. So you'll see on page 51 that depending on the item, it'll recommend a clearance of 3 feet, 4 feet, sometimes 1.5 feet. I know that it's recommended that in a bedroom there needs to be at least a 20-inch clearance around the bed. I guess that's so that way you don't feel smothered when you're sleeping by furniture, and it gives you space to, I guess, make your bed as well. Um, I personally am not adapting by that rule because I have a small room, but I hope that you guys have enough room where you can adapt to that. Let me know if it helps your interior, your internal interior designer. So, and then there's something called critical dimensions, in which certain appliances have to be a certain distance apart. So there is a work triangle which allots for enough room so that way you can actually work efficiently. Um, and the one that they have is for the kitchen, which is the sink, fridge, and range, and they recommend a perimeter of 7 feet. Um, just so that way you're not running into everything. And I guess the risk of injury is low at that point. So one of your questions is going to be from 3:16. which is asking, in figuring the cost of carpeting a room, divide the square footage by what? Uh, and we already went over this, but the correct answer is C, 9. So make sure that whenever you're doing any problems, especially on the Unit 9 test, that all of your units of measurement are, that you're multiplying and dividing and applying the right unit of measurement of whatever the problem is asking. So, and then we really don't have too much to cover today, but we're also going to talk about briefly decorating on a budget. So let's say you are tired of the space that you're in and you want to revamp it, renew it. Let's say you're bored this week with everything that's going on and you and your family want a project. Try redecorating your house. Ways you can do that is using paint. You might have some paint around the house already, um, or you can go buy some. It's depending on which type you get. It can be expensive, but it is a pretty quick way to revamp a room. There's also the idea of wallpaper. Nowadays they have sticky wallpaper that you don't even need to. There used to be a process where you'd have to like glue the wall and then roll the paper up the wall and cut it at the top, and that's no longer a thing now. They just have actual strips of sticky wallpaper and you just put it up there. Um, you can look for sales, furniture sales. You can use Facebook Marketplace to try to find some furniture sales. You can try reorienting your furniture. I'm considering doing that this week and just taking a space and seeing all the alternative ways in which I could make it feel bigger. You could add rugs to space, which you could find via sales. And also another way to save money when kind of decorating stuff yourself is transporting your own purchases. What that means typically is if you buy a couch from a furniture store, sometimes they will, for a certain charge, they will ship it to you. Um, and if you have, it is a lot cheaper to borrow a friend's truck and move that couch yourself. So these are just some tips and tricks on how to save on decorating. So we'll do another problem which you may encounter if you are um, when you're older and you have your own house and you want to replace the flooring, or you want to see how much it would cost to replace flooring in one room and flooring in another room. So we'll look at model 2 on page 55 for this. And a little note, please use the cost of each good on pages 53 and 54 in order uh, to do the equation correctly. So model 2, the problem states your kitchen is 72 feet squared, your family room is 154 feet squared, and your living room is 180 feet squared. Based on the cost table provided, calculate the total cost to lay linoleum on your kitchen floor, vinyl on your family room floor, and nylon carpeting with hair and jade padding in your living room floor. Assume you purchase the items at the lowest prices listed. Okay? So as you kind of noticed on page 53 and 54, they do go in a range. So just take the lower number and apply that to the specific problem. So let's figure out the cost of linoleum for a kitchen. So you're going to take the 72 feet squared, you're going to divide it by 9 in order to create the yard. So that's going to be 8 yards. And then you'll multiply the 8 yards by the $3.45, which it would cost which is the cost for linoleum per square yard. And then we have the cost of vinyl for family room. You have the 154 feet squared, divide that by 9 in order to get yards, which is 17.11 yards squared. And then take the 17.11 yards squared and multiply that by by $2.60, which is the per square yard price for vinyl. And then do the same thing for the nylon carpeting for the living room. 180 feet squared divided by 9, which is 20 yards squared. Multiply the 20 by $5.50 to get $110 for carpet. And then the cost of hair and jute padding, which just keep note that we only use padding for carpet. You don't need to put padding for linoleum or hardwood or anything. It's just for carpet. And so you'll just take the same 20 yards and then you'll multiply it by $1.10 to get $22, which would be the cost for the padding. And in order to figure out the total cost to basically redo the flooring of your downstairs in this particular family's house, is you're going to take all of the totals, add them together to create $204.09. Alrighty. And something else to be aware of when you are purchasing a house or considering, or your parents are considering buying something for their house, be aware of as is purchases. An as is purchase is basically what you see is what you get, which sometimes works in your favor and sometimes it doesn't. But kind of the warning with an as is purchase is be aware to look at the quality. Typically, an as is purchase is um, it's not always the best quality, or it was returned for some reason. So just be aware to check on that. Um, yeah, usually as is purchases has some defect or damage. So just see what the damage is, if it's something that you can cut out, or if it's just a total damage before you purchase it. So, and the last problem we're gonna do, since you guys have a very limited amount of problems this week, if you buy, so the question 325 says if you buy a plush carpet, you need not concern yourself with quality of padding. Is that true or false? I'll give you guys a second, but the answer is false. You do need to be concerned with it because that's what's going to go under your carpet, make your floor plushy. So that is about all that I've got. You have a self-test at the end of the book, which will cover everything that um, we've talked about today, as well as some of the other stuff that we covered last week. And then you guys are done with Unit 9. So the rest of the week, study for the Unit 9 test. Be aware to, not be aware, please email me, like I said, if you have any questions, concerns at all. And I will try to get all of your homework back to you as soon as I can. And until further notice, I will assume that we are going to be meeting online. So I'll send out this video and then I will send you guys an email to let you know that we will likely be doing a